the Sudan may go back into war. And of course, as you would know, human suffering and human indignity is not acceptable, and as a church, that's also part of our interest. You've had the bishop and the president of the Sudan Council of Churches speak, and we've had that message before. And as a regional church, we want to respond to this cry of the bishop and the people of Sudan. And we had a visit in Southern Sudan as a global body with the Secretary General of the World Evangelical Alliance, and this is we are the Association of Evangelicals is one of 7 regions that constitute the World Evangelical Alliance. So whatever the WEA is doing, we are very much part of that, and we want to spearhead this and see whatever we can do to mobilize our constituency for prayer, for material support, for technical support, and even send election monitors for the referendum to ensure that we can also attest its credibility and advocate for whatever the outcomes. And as you know, there are 2 possible outcomes. Sudan, and each of these has implications. And the implications also pose a lot of threat either way, and we need to mitigate that, and we are mobilizing the world community, our own community all over the world, to prepare ourselves for such eventualities. Thank you very much.
John?
Well, thank you very much. You've heard much about the situation in Sudan. The World Evangelical Alliance was invited by the Sudan Council of Churches and the Sudan Evangelical Alliance to visit there and understand the issues and seek to be a voice globally, speaking to the church in our constituency. We serve a constituency of 420 million evangelical Christians around the world. And it's been indicated, we were recently there. You should have received, if you didn't, there's a press release that we put out just after we visited on October the 11th. And it indicates what our response is to this, which we think is a very, very urgent situation. We believe this situation is on the radar of many political institutions and governments around the world, NGOs, but we're very concerned that many within the church do not understand the level of urgency that we must engage in responding to this situation in Sudan. As we think about this situation, we realize that civil war is a certain possibility if there's not a fair and free and violent-free referendum, and so we are recognizing that. We also recognize that there are international players that must commit the resources or provide the resources they committed to financially to support the referendum, and we're certainly calling upon those governments to keep their commitments. And as we think about as the referendum goes forward, that it would indeed be free and fair. As indicated, the World Evangelical Alliance has been asked to provide monitors specifically on behalf of the global church so that they would be observing there during the referendum and reflecting their views on what took place. The World Evangelical Alliance does not have a specific position on the outcome of the election and the referendum. We do have a position on the fact that it should take place on January the 9th. We believe unless it takes place on that date, which was agreed to, that there will be many difficulties to follow, and we are deeply concerned. And so again, our concern is that we're now calling on the global church to respond in several ways. One is we are going to be calling Global Day of Prayer, and we'll be announcing those details soon for Sudan. And then we will be calling a meeting of key players from both within Sudan and players from outside of Sudan for a meeting in Nairobi to see how we can facilitate cooperation and collaboration in response to this need. I believe as I look across the planet, and I travel all the time, I believe as we look at issues across our planet today in the next 90 days, this has to be one of the most important strategic initiatives and concerns, because the potential of war and destabilization of the region will potentially take place. And then we must think about post-referendum, what will it need to take to build a nation. No matter what decision they make, there must be commitment to development in all different levels of society in the southern Sudan, and also be involved in peace building and reconciliation. So again, our word and voice to the global church is, this is urgent and we must respond to this. It is critical for our sisters and brothers in Sudan and the whole nation of Sudan. So this is really a clarion call for that response as we think about this situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to invite questions now. Yes, Ed. Just come here. Say your name and...
Hi, Matt Cresswell, writing for Christianity Magazine and the Guardian newspaper in England. Question for Bishop Ezekiel. How has the political situation affected poverty in Sudan, and how can the Lausanne movement help that situation and speak into that situation?
Thank you for this question. With me there are bishops from Sudan. I would like to give this chance to Bishop Akangelo to respond to this question.
Bishop.
Bishop Arcangelo, Bishop of Africa, Indian Church, Sudan. In fact, there are a lot of anxieties and fears that are looming now. Speak up a bit more. Yeah, as we wait for these 80 days to come, for the referendum to happen, I think there are a lot of people are anxious and people are afraid. And this fear and anxiety that comes is just basically because we do not know what is going to take place, what is going to happen. Will the results of the referendum be accepted? Will it be peaceful? Will it be, so people do not know what is going to, therefore there is a lot of anxiety and fear. And as to whether, as to how the situation, the political situation has affected the people, yes, it has. I mean, should South Sudan separates, then we have a lot of people that needs to be brought back from the north. And mind you, these were IDPs that were taken. The war forced them into the north. And now they will need to come back. Going without anything, coming without anything. That is one thing. And even when they come back to South Sudan, there will be a lot of, there will be a problem of settlement. There will be urgently, the settlement is needed for them. And the security as they track back, coming to their respective places. There are issues to do with landmine, because when they left their places, some of the places were heavily mined. So these are some of the problems. People are seriously affected by this because they were displaced, and now when they come back, they will have to go to their villages. And in this process, they will need to be settled, they will need to be given temporary shelters, they will need to be given food in the process. So these are all some of the things that we as a church are concerned about. Because as they come, the place they know is the church. As you all know that when calamities strike, where people go is always to the doorsteps of the church, expecting to be helped, expecting to receive services. So we are also worried, as the people are worried. As the people are anxious, we are also anxious. How are we going to cope with this? Thank you.